Motivation. Tobel. Family members, right? Family members who are economically challenged and are going through seasons in their lives. The ones that had to move back home because life happened. Maybe they were retrenched and couldn't find another job, or they were dismissed, failure and failure, or even resigned, or they lost their businesses and they had to, move back home to sort of like start life over again. Just try to recover, right? Mostly you just go back home if you are blessed enough to have a home to go back to. Those family members, how are we treating them, family? How are we treating them? How's that going? What would they say? What would they say if they could speak? What would they say? How would they say you are treating them? There's a lady I know. You know this lady, she was working, lived with her husband and her beautiful child, family of 3. She had a business on the side. Life happened. She lost everything. And the husband decided, I didn't sign up for this. So the husband dashed, right? Left his wife and his child to figure it all out for themselves while he dashed back home to his mama and his papa. So now things unraveled very quick for her. The next thing you know, she's unemployed basically, no business, no income. They lost their home. Now she had to go look for a place to stay with her child. Then she's got siblings, so she asks her sister to, can I come stay with you with my child up until I try and figure something out? The sister's like, yeah, sure. She didn't stay there more than a month because the sister said to her, well, okay, so she says what happened was the sister went to work with the husband, their kids were at school. She gets a text message from the sister, and the sister says, by tomorrow, please move out with your child. You living there is making my husband feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to allow my husband to feel uncomfortable in his own house, right? I mean, some people might say, yeah, well, it's justified. Okay. I mean, some people have said that, like, oh, yeah, well, you justify, they just want to be a family. You have a family member with a child that doesn't have anywhere to go. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But so then she says, but where am I going to go? You know my situation. And going back home, the family home where they all grew up, it's like, well, you know how it is. That's a no-no. And she was like, I'm sorry, but my husband is not going to feel uncomfortable. At least I'm giving you time. So bye tomorrow. And she said to me, this is the sister that I used to take care of her. This is the sister whom, when they were going through the most with the husband, I think the husband had lost a job or something along those lines, she used to pay for their bond and would give them like 1,000 to at least buy some groceries, like to get by. She said, this is the sister that I used to help her and the husband, but they couldn't help me, right? They just felt I'm making the husband uncomfortable. So then she's like, okay, cool. She had no choice but to move out. She asked a friend. A friend said, of course, friend, come over. She went there, and then the friend was like, I'm sorry, friend. I know you're going through the most, but I really think you should find an alternative place to stay. I can't house you anymore. Listing all the reasons of why she couldn't house them anymore. So then now she has to go back home. The family home where they didn't want her there with her child from the start. So she did. And her furniture, they didn't allow it. It's just a lot. It was just a lot for the poor lady Shane. They didn't allow the furniture inside the house. They put it outside and it got rained on and all of those things. And this was expensive furniture, They were fighting, telling her she must go back. They don't want her in the house. And she was saying to me, she was like, well, when they are exchanging words, like harsh and cruel words, she's thinking to herself, what is this really about? Because she said they would mention things like, you were busy going to Disneyland with your child, and now look at you, you are homeless. Because she's like, well, what does me and my child going to Disneyland have to do with anything? Because that was then. And she's saying that, well, they're saying that, but not knowing that it was actually the father-in-law, because he's someone who is well off, that took the kids, to Disneyland, Disney World. Is it Disneyland or Disney World? Disneyland, Disney World. Yeah, that one. You know, so she's like, they're saying all of these things, and she's thinking to herself, like, okay, well, what's happening? Why are these people saying all of these things? Is it like a jealousy thing? Is it like it's a thing where you were waiting for me to go through these things? Are you happy that I'm going through these things? But yeah, she was just mistreated to the point that they were actually telling her that she has to move out. They don't care where she goes. And again, she's like, and that's the family home that it's always the case. I helped to renovate. I used to help them out with cash. I used to help them out. I would be the first person they would call whenever they needed something. But today, they just felt her own family. That's her grandmother's home. So it's not even like distant relatives, like real family. Until she was saved by, her uncle's wife. Uncle's wife took pity. She's like, no, man, this is so unfair. This person is going through this. Why don't they come live with us? And mind you, these are people who, the husband is a general worker, the wife, the uncle's wife bakes scones for a living. It's not even people that have a lot, but they were the people that took her in because they said, well, this is someone that's out there with a child. Let's just take them in and help them out. And they took them in, and it was such a big transition for the child that this poor child was physically ill, like suffering from anxiety, and it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And she had to, this is a child that had gone to private school all her life. So suddenly now she has to go to a school in the townships. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but that transition is a difficult one because now, besides it being a different environment, but also the language barriers. Because if you studied English as a first language all your life, then suddenly you have to, funny enough, study your mother tongue as a first language. It's a whole different ball game. It's a very difficult transition. This poor child was just physically ill, right? Like all that stress and all of that, like it took its toll on her physically. But that's what they went through, right? And this is families because now she's at that point, and I mean, even her, she lost so much weight because, like, what is this? Like, she had no soft landing just up until the uncle's wife said, "Listen, this person can come stay with us." Just up until she sorts herself out, because the family was like, "We don't care. Go live under the bridge with your child. You won't be the first." She said that they told her that. She told me. She said they said, "You're not the first person. Go live under a bridge. You'll be fine with your child. This is family." The house that she grew up in. And the husband just deserted them. They didn't care. But we're talking about family, right? And those kind of treatments that happen when someone is no longer financially independent and is dependent on family. It's a hard thing. I mean, there's a case of, I'll say X and Y. X says Y, X and Y are siblings. So Y calls X and says, X, I have this opportunity for you. Would you be interested? Y jokes around and said, oh my God, would I be interested? Would I be interested? And then X says, never mind, it doesn't matter. So then Y says, okay, then I ask X, what was the opportunity about? Just let me know. The next is like, oh, actually, the opportunity was an opportunity that was going to pay you, but you turned me off with your joke. That's why I just let it go. Oh, okay. So then why is like, oh, so suddenly I can't make jokes because it's going to offend those that are helping to feed me? Like, it's not what's happening. Should family members not be making certain jokes around you because now they're eating the bread that you are buying? Right? They're using water that you are paying for or partly paying for. So now they must watch their jokes. They're sitting in the whole family having Christmas lunch, and you say to them, please finish eating. People must have dessert. Because why should they relax while they're eating? They didn't buy all this food that they're eating. They shouldn't relax. They should just eat quick because, they're not contributing anything. Is that how you're treating them? If we could talk to them, what would they say? It's one of those things. It's a very strange thing. It's like, and they're not allowed to have opinions around you because you are feeding them. because when they switch on the lights, you pay for those lights. So they must jump when you say jump. They can never say no to you. Oh my God, because you will get pissed off because you feed them. Grace, right? Were you ever in that situation? And you know the grace of it. You have the grace story because when you got out of it, there was no bitterness about it. You were okay. And the grace of it was that you didn't think you could survive that period, but you really did. And on the other side, you were also just okay. And somehow, instead of you being bitter and resentful about it, about the treatment that you got, you were just like more determined to be more kind and more sympathetic and more compassionate to other people. Like it made you to understand and be less judgmental. What is your great story? You know, maybe you have a story that you do want to share, and it's a great story, and it's a story that could help someone. Maybe someone could be going through something and they could hear your story. And again, it could be that, they hear your story and they're like, I know exactly what that is. Oh, so this is possible. Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one, because when you go through things, sometimes you think you are the only one. So it always helps when you hear someone else say, no, listen, you're not the first. The problem is new to you, but the problem is definitely not new. So yeah, let's talk.